Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Blue Marble. Good to see you guys. Wow, we sure know how to kill a stream. Went from 20 viewers down to like 12, like real quick.
How do you manage that?
I don't know. That must be the sound of my voice doing it. And joining me today, we got Alan Evans and Farmer's Boy, Judy Bassett, and Rob Barton. Afternoon, folks.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, it is actually. Been a nice day.
Turned into a really nice day here.
It's even better now because for the first time in far too long, I've had the windows cleaned.
Oh, you got somebody out, did you?
I found somebody in the end, and I said, "Can you just do the windows and the gutters?" And he had a look, and he said, "When's the last time you had these cleaned?" And I said, "Yes, quite some time ago. Took him an hour and a half."
Wonderful. We've clawed our way back to 25 viewers now. Shout out to the Snark Earth is Life, Reed Fleming, the Snark again. Yeah, I'll catch on in a minute. Charlie Welch, Tony McFlatty, Mark 10, Snark. Rob's out there. He's in here too, so is Judy. And Chris Durham Music Channel, Sean Hawkins. Who else do I see? All kinds of people out there. Hello, Dora. Dora's out there. Farmers is out there and in here.
Well, you know, busy boy.
And the Triggered Limeys out there. So I think I got everybody, hopefully. Anyway. What's going on this beautiful spherical earth of ours? Anything?
Not really. We're just rolling along.
Yeah.
Well, I went and joined the what is that? Earth Awakenings server, the one that Geo does.
Oh, yes.
Signed up and went over there, had a very pleasant chat with SE Montreal. I only think he called me an idiot 15 times.
Oh, is that all? Oh, you must have been holding that then.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. I wish I would have taped some of that. Listening to Montreal try to explain a cesium clock is absolutely hilarious.
I'd heard somebody say that they were all talking about time. I think when we was in Jose's earlier on. Oh, because we said, "Oh, where are all the idiots?" Oh, they're all over there discussing time. And it's like, really? How about you tell us how a sunset works first, and then get onto the more esoteric matters of things like time later? They're like my two stepsons when they were young. I swear they could argue about anything, and did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the way that's certainly the way it was going today. I may as well have been talking to a gate fence.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Can't get anywhere with them. Jeremy was in there too. That's quite a collection.
Yes, that's why I think Rumpus sent me a link to go and join it ages ago. And I clicked on it and I looked at all the names, I looked at who were the mods, and I just thought, I'll just slowly back out and pretend I was never here. It just looked...
Yeah.
It didn't bode well. I just thought, no, I'm not even going to put my toe in the water. I'll just back out and leave you guys to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that. I decided I thought I'd try it a little bit. See how it goes. If it doesn't get any better, I know how to leave.
That's very easy, isn't it?
I was signed up in it at one point early on, right after they made that server, and then I got put in timeout for typing in the chat something to George about just laughing at the idiots, and that apparently offended them terribly. So
Well, of course.
they timed me out for. I understand. The way I read the rule was, you weren't supposed to go on the voice channel and laugh. Actually laugh. Okay, I get that, because that can be annoying. When I think about that, I think about that silly little girl giggle that Chris Berry gives us.
Oh, please don't.
So yeah, I agree. Let's have a rule that says don't do that. But typing, I'm just laughing at these idiots in the chat. What? Wow. So I think they've relented a little bit and loosened the rules up. Clearly they must have, because I'm not kidding, must have called me an idiot 15 times. Oh well, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's a bit like me last night. I ended up in some Facebook group that has flatties in it, and somebody posted a really stupid meme back at something I'd said, but they obviously hadn't actually read anything that was written in the meme. So I replied with, "Why don't you read the damn meme first?" Apparently that's a word that will get you a 24-hour posting ban.
What?
It's on their list of that DAMN, and yeah, that will get you a 24-hour timeout. And I was like, wow. So what other words I better be careful not saying? Oh, the list. The thing that really annoyed then was the list of banned words. You go to the page, you follow the link, you get there, and it just says at the top, "Coming soon."
Oh, that gives you a fighting chance, then, doesn't it?
Yep. Oh.
I want to give a shout out to Judy Bassett. She sent me a huge $40 PayPal, and I'll read you the note from Judy. It says, you can have a party for Gary, Brian's Logic, and Brian Leakey, or use this for whatever you need. Somehow I can't imagine a party with those three.
No.
Wow.
I'm not even going to go there.
Well, you can see up on the screen a picture of Lake Pontchartrain. I'm not going to be quiet about Lake Pontchartrain. I'm going to continue talking about Lake Pontchartrain.
Yeah.
It really seems to disturb those guys. I think they know that it's all but impossible to argue about it.
Yeah, so I think it just highlights for most of them that they're not really flat earthers; they're just plain silly buggers.
Yep.
I mean, the crap we've heard, the excuses and explanations as for what's going on there, it's bloody curvature. It's as simple as that. That's why I've always said, if you're looking side to side, your peripheral vision doesn't give you enough of a view to see the curvature side to side. But places like that, when you go high enough and you've got this lovely straight bridge going across it, yeah, it's an absolutely perfect example of the curvature we expect to see. Excuse me.
Yes, it is.
And I hear Lakia talking about this a lot, and I'm just curious as to why he hasn't gone and tried to recreate these images. I know he's gone before. He's like posted a few videos about it, but wonder why he hasn't gone to the exact spot to recreate this.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
for some
I
reason
wonder why.
he believes, yeah, he believes the atmosphere is what's making it look like it's true. He likes to talk about the mirages and everything, but the point is, if you go on a day when there is no mirage, and you're still going to see that curve.
Yeah. Every time. I don't think there are any days when you don't see that curve, unless it's a day when the atmosphere is so gooey that the visibility is limited. That's the only thing that's going to stop you from seeing the curve.
Right, you mean the sort of conditions Travis likes to go out and take photos in?
Yeah, that would be the
When
ones.
anybody else would go, you must be joking, we're not going to see a thing. Travis will be there. Ether band, click, 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 click.
Yeah.
You've gone.
Yeah, that's the point. The point is to not get weird effects over the atmosphere. That's the point of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
But
we
they
look
like to go out in those, they like to go out in those conditions so they can argue about the atmosphere,
Correct.
making things appear.
Well, I mean, Travis did that when he had those 2 weeks when he was there doing all that film footage and photographing and all the rest of it. And he even explained what times a day he went out there, and it turns out that those were the exact time of day where you'd get the worst possible conditions. And it's like, what? Just there's only one reason why you'd do that, because you want your photographs to be crap.
right.
You want refraction and all the mess and everything else. I mean, anybody else would go, no, let's wait for it to clear up. I mean, like we had when we was down at Welney one time last year, and I was stood on the bridge, and over the course of the day, and as we went into the evening, the visibility just got better and better and better, and it was like, right, this is the time of day, and it probably would be that time of day because it takes us all day to get everything set up. You get into the early evening, and all the temperatures have sort of settled down, and all of a sudden, both through his sighting scope, I think it was a P1000 and an auto level, you could see the other bridge quite clearly that's 6 miles away, and it's like, there you go, that's what we've been waiting for. Whereas by that point, Travis would have packed up and gone home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
And two left thumbs out in the chat makes a good observation. He says, if they think the features in that picture are straight, I've got a couple of pool cues I could sell them.
Yeah, because they're no bloody good to man or beast because they're bent.
Yeah. Hope you don't have a pool cue that looks like that one. Oh, wow.
That's the question I was asking. I think I was asking Brian or somebody I know. If that was a 2x4, would you buy it?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't. But here's an
Is it the atmosphere is it the atmosphere between my eye and the end of the 2x4 that makes it look curved?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Apparently.
Yes.
Oh, and clearly refraction will have an effect on the amount of curvature that you're seeing, or how it's presenting itself. On days with high levels of refraction, that bridge will straighten out a bit, but it never becomes flat.
No.
Ever. You can't have that much refraction. At least I've never seen a picture. And if they could produce one, believe you me, they would. But I think this was from Soundley when he was in the hotel there up on about the 15th story or something like that.
Something like that. Yes, quite a few floors up.
Yeah. And with a very large amount of magnification.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I believe the right-hand edge is about 10 miles out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's halfway.
Right.
It's beyond halfway. It's beyond halfway. You're only seeing one of those marine spans.
Oh yeah. Is it just the one?
I think. Wait a minute.
I thought the other one
No.
is the other marine span.
The other one's further down. Okay.
Yeah.
So it probably is about 10 miles out. The spans are either side of center line, not all that far.
I was going to
couple of miles
say,
either
the
way.
other marine span looks like it's actually vertical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. But that's the perfect spot to be looking at this thing if you want to see what the curve looks like.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I remember seeing a video of somebody driving over it, coming from that side, coming this way, and you don't even notice driving up that first span.
No. I think you can tell you're going up, but it doesn't look anything like that from road level. Nothing like that.
No. I was going to say, from road level, where the barriers are kind of like higher than the vehicle, so you're not necessarily seeing the water so easily.
Yeah, the way
it barely looks like you climb.
Yeah, the way it presents in this picture, it looks like a 12-12 pitch roof or something like that, but it's nothing like that, of course. Hey, shout out Digital Demonic Davros. Let's see what Davros says. Wonder if Flurfs could actually find a flat, parallel, horizontal bridge anywhere on this planet. I know they can't. Let's see. I know you can't be. All right, I'll try it again. I know you can't be. Can they? Okay.
I think that's.
I know you can't, but can they?
I think that's what it should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right,
Yeah.
Davros. We'll let you off. Just
Yeah.
Typos are typo.
Yep.
I'm an expert at typos. I make lots of them.
My fingers get dyslexic all the time.
But the one thing they seem to have started pointing at, and I find this hilarious, is the consistent height of that road surface when you look at the GPS data that Jesse took. You know, and he actually shows the height above mean sea level. And he put that in there just to make it easy to see whether or not, when you're looking at a point, if you're looking at a point that's on the level part of the bridge or a point that's on one of those humps. And the whole level part of the bridge all the way across, of course, because it's at about 5.8 meters above sea level, more or less. Very consistent from one end to the other. And they've started pointing to that, and I find that hilarious. I find it hilarious for this reason. The only reason it is consistently at 5.8 meters is because the raw GPS XYZ data has had the geoid and the ellipsoid applied to it. So it's almost like now they're admitting that it had to be, the GPS readings had to display curvature.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's a fact, because if you take just the raw XYZ data, every one of those points puts you about 6,400 kilometers away from the origin. You only get to 5.8 meters by subtracting most of 6,400 kilometers away from it.
I think one thing that's clear is that whenever you talk about the XYZ coordinates and our TV coordinate system, I'm not sure if they maybe they don't understand what that is. I think Bob kind of explained it to make me understand it. So if you put something in a box, you can, if you have, you can represent every surface on that object, with a distance from each edge of the box, and those will be your coordinates to the surface of that object. Like the distance from the top to the object, distance from the side to the object, and on every point on that object. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's called Earth-centered, Earth-fixed coordinate system.
Yeah. And in the center of that object would be a specific distance from all sides of the box, right? And that would be your one coordinate point.
Right. Yeah, you're.
So if you have a ball, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you're measuring the distance from the center to every point on the surface, or any point away from that origin.
Right. And in the case of the Pontchartrain Bridge, they're measuring from the center, the Earth, to the point on the bridge, and you put that in the coordinate system, you see that arc.
Yep. Yep. Now, when you go ahead and fully resolve that to an elevation that we could use as humans, right? All of those level points look like a straight line, but they only look like a straight line because they're forced to look that way because of the ellipsoid and the geoid.
You mean like a straight line on the surface?
Yeah, it looks parallel to the surface. Sure.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it should do that, right? I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yes.
It should follow the surface of the Earth, or the surface of the sea. Let's do it that way. Pretty much perfectly, and it does. It's 5.8 meters higher or further away from the center, consistently, all the way across. But it's only that way because it's been compared to the geoid, and it's been adjusted for the variation that occurs between, for the ellipsoid. And it's been corrected for the variation that occurs between the ellipsoid and the geoid. Those things don't match perfectly. The ellipsoid is a perfectly elliptical thingy.
Do you think there's any other bridges where this could be observed? This curve?
I don't know. I would think there must be somewhere. Not sure where it would be though.
It would definitely have to be long enough.
Well, that's the problem. Pontchartrain does give a certain unique set of opportunities here. You've got the length of the causeway, allied to the fact that at one end you've got this hotel that's got a sufficient number of floors that you can rent a room on the 12th, 13th, 14th floor, whatever it was, I can't remember, and you can make observations like this. It's a matter of finding something that's long enough. Plus, you've also got nearby where you can get high enough to have a view like this. And I don't think there are too many places that offer that, unfortunately.
The Florida Keys, maybe, or as somebody suggested in the chat, places in the Netherlands like Zeeland Bridge from the start.
Yeah, I just don't know whether you've got somewhere in the right spot to get the height.
Yeah, that's
all. Because obviously down at ground level, it's not going to work. You need to get the height that Soundly did to get that view. Really.
Yeah.
Well, we have seen the curvature.
Oh, there are a few where he's right on the. I think he's pretty close to it. Or he's like, wasn't there one where he's like underneath it or something?
Yeah, but you just don't. It's not quite as clear, I mean, this image that he's produced that we're all admiring, the height was certainly a benefit. I don't know. I think it requires sort of people with local knowledge or something and knowing.
I think Soundly's gotten pictures of some of those transmission towers too.
Yes.
Because there are power lines running across this thing.
That's right. Yes, he has.
Over on the
Yeah.
west side, I believe. And you can definitely see the curvature in the power lines. But then you're kind of in the opposite mode. You've got really tall things disappearing into the distance.
Exactly.
But if you're right down there at the level of the bridge, it's going to be hard to see it, I think.
Yeah.
Well, you're obstructed from seeing the far shoreline is the problem.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you can't really tell.
That's where the height comes in, being able to be up in that hotel.
Right, and either being up in the hotel or looking at something that's sticking up a consistent distance like those power lines do.
Yes.
That's the two conditions or one of the two ways you can do it.
Yeah, either you're up high or what you're looking at is up high. Yeah, there must be somewhere where you can do a similar thing somewhere, but who knows?
Repo Sandman in the chat says, has anyone ever gotten the design plans for this? I don't know. I've not seen them.
Yeah, I think the problem is when it was built. And then, would anybody have bothered digitising them to be able to put them online or anything?
No, they're probably on microfilm. That's what we did with all our old drawings that dated back that far.
Yeah.
Just microfilm the damn things. And then if somebody wants to go to the trouble, you can come back and digitize that, but that's a lot of work.
Oh, yes. That's why it usually doesn't get done.
Yeah, exactly.
Too much work and it's too much money. Because that's the ultimate thing. It's like, oh, yeah, we'll do that. How much will that cost? How much? Yeah, let's not.
Yeah, we had a whole room full of cabinets full of those damned old microfiche. Having to wade through those things and try to find anything is a pain.
It could be bad enough now when they're all CAD files or PDFs on an online system trying to find them. I'm having that at the moment. And then somebody's showing you a drawing on an online meeting and you go to look at it afterwards, you think, well, where is it then? It's still on their hard drive somewhere. They haven't uploaded it to the system for everybody to see.
Yep.
It's like, if you're done with the drawing, can you sort of post it online where everybody else in the design team can see it? Eh? So yes, modern methods don't necessarily make it much easier.
No. Math Time says, I built bridges for almost 20 years before starting my own company. This bridge is exactly what you would expect going over a large lake. I agree.
Yep.
Well, it is because the Earth isn't flat. The Earth is a sphere.
Yeah.
Get over it, guys.
That's why they don't like this photo, because it shows water curving. One thing that they all maintain is impossible. Show me a measurement of water curving. Measure it, you just bloody look at it. It's like Pontchartrain.
Yeah, to me, when you combine this photograph with the GPS data, it's absolutely conclusive. I don't see any way to argue with it.
That's because you're sane and rational.
The real problem is, though, they say, show us a measurement. So you show them a measurement. Oh, no, that's just numbers. Show us a picture. So you show them a picture. Oh, no, that's no good. Show us a video.
Yeah.
It's like, why would having 5,000 of this, 5,000 copies of this being shown to you at 30 times a second make any difference to the image?
Right. Cool. It's called moving the goalposts.
Well, I know.
those all-terrain off-road lightweight goalposts.
Yeah.
Because
Those-
they do. They set you a hoop, you jump through it, and they go, here's the next hoop, and the next hoop, and the next hoop.
Yeah. Oh, you made it through that hoop? Let's try this hoop.
Well, here's this one. And, hey, guess
Yeah.
what? This one's on fire.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
Off you
Yep.
go.
I'm afraid it'll get noisy around my place here for a bit, so I'll be punching in and out audio wise. Yeah, today's the lawn care guy. I think I heard him just crank up out there. We'll see. Oh well. Suppose
Yeah, well, my first meeting of the day was at 10 o'clock, and I think Matey Boy finished doing the windows at about 5 minutes past. He rang the doorbell, and I sort of hurried downstairs. He said, has your meeting started? I said, no, we're just waiting for a few latecomers, so you're safe, you're fine. I'm not missing anything, but the timing was almost perfect, you know.
Yeah, we'll do the best we can. Try to hold the noise to a minimum. Yeah, it's usually not that bad. Just when he gets up here close to these windows.
Yeah.
So I'm on the ground floor. At one time I had a dining room in this house. Now I've got an office. It's a big office though.
Yes, I've got a 3-bedroom house, and one of those is an office, but it could do with being bigger.
This room is plenty big. Too big, actually.
Yeah.
I've got a full size. I got a 36-inch plotter sitting over here. Those things use up some space.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at prices for I've got one of these little A4 all-in-one printers, scanners, what have you. I was looking at an A3 one because I keep printing drawings out on A4. I have to keep getting in close and taking my glasses off to look at the detail because it's an A1 drawing reduced down to A4. You know, so it's quite small. I'm thinking, how about if I printed all this out on A3? Yeah, that might have to wait a month or two. Ain't cheap.
I've got an inkjet printer that prints 11 by 17 size drawings. So I don't know what that is for you guys, but
will be
that
I think
would
that's
be
an A3
A3 plus. That's what we would call an A3 plus.
okay.
I think it's more close to an A4.
No, 11 by 17.
Oh, 11 by 17. No, I'm sorry.
Yes, because A4 is he says measuring a sheet of a drawing
11
is
12-ish
about
by.
Yes, about 8 by 12 A4.
And those are good enough. They're readable. Unless you've got a drawing with a lot of real tiny detail on it.
Yes, let's have a look at oh yes, the one with all the drainage details on. That's a definite glasses off job. Yeah. My varifocals are good, but they're not that good.
Yeah, I keep looking at A3 size printers, obviously for the photography.
Yeah.
And I just can't justify it when I can get an absolutely brilliant quality 16 by 12 or A3 print done at a laboratory for £1.25.
Yeah,
Plus,
I know what you mean.
Plus shipping, and yeah, it's actually better quality. I believe it's actually better quality than you get from an inkjet because it's on actual proper colour photo paper.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's fine for photographs. I mean, I'm just printing off drawings,
Yeah.
mainly just to go over them and scribble all over them in my red pen.
I did once see a really nice Canon printer, and it was really cheap, like 300 quid. And I thought, yeah, I won't mind that. I know I have to find somewhere to put the dang thing because it's pretty dang big, being a 36-inch carriage.
Oh yeah.
And and then I looked up how much the ink was.
Yeah.
How much do you think for a full set of Canon OEM inks for
$75.
it? £1,000.
You know, not laugh.
No,
You gotta be kidding me.
Because it's such a big printer, it uses the really big ink cartridges.
Oh, yeah, I know the ones you mean. Yeah, sod that.
So like the ones you pay like 15 quid a pop for, they have a tiny amount of ink in them. Well, these cartridges have got like nearly 10 times as much ink. Now, yes, the ink per litre comes down quite a bit, but yeah, it's still
Oh, this
£1,000 a set.
this 36-inch HP I've got. This plotter uses 4 ink cartridges, of course.
Yeah.
They're and they don't run out that fast. You can run a lot of drawings with one of those. And I can buy the black cartridge for $30.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to use HP 750, something like that.
That's what I've got sitting. That's exactly what I've got sitting here, an HP 750 design jet.
Black, yellow, cyan, and magenta cartridges, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, that would be it.
And they do last a long time. And the only trouble I ever had was actually keeping, at least one set of spares in stock at any one time. And it was, what do you want another set of cartridges for? Because these ones are getting bloody low. And if I run out and can't print anything, you'll all be complaining. So buy me another set so they're sat in the desk drawer ready for when it goes beep, 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 out of ink. Because they're the first people to complain. Can you just print this off? Nope. Why not? Because you wouldn't buy any cartridges in time.
And of course, when you're doing engineering drawings type stuff, it's not like you're laying down nearly as much ink as you lay down when you're doing photos.
Oh no, of course not. That's like
fact.
Even this little thing here, mine's a Canon, and I'm using the XL cartridges, so they last longer.
Yeah.
And it's doing quite well, to be honest. I've got through quite a few drawings over the last 2 or 3 weeks, printed these things off, and and of course the advantage is I don't mind because the cartridges aren't that expensive, and because I'm sort of registered as a sole trader, when I come to do my tax, all the costs of these things will get offset. So I'm not overly worried about it.
You'll at least not pay tax on the cost of it.
Correct. Yes. I mean, I'm keeping a account and invoices for everything I'm buying. Even down to I bought myself a new hard hat and a high vis vest and a laser measure and everything. Yeah, even to the point where I can even claim some of the heating and electricity for the house because I'm working from home. You can claim all of that, or a percentage of it anyway.
Yeah, we can too. And as Sherlock in the chat had a question. Said, is this not too close to C, that much curvature? Don't the flurfs say it is an illusion or something? Yeah, they try to make that case.
Yeah.
That's what they try to say. This is shot with P900, I think.
I thought that one was shot with the telescope and the Sony A7 III.
Okay.
I think it was quite a setup he had for it.
May have been, yeah.
Yeah, because that is actually, I think that was actually shot with like a 3,000mm telescope. Then with an eyepiece onto the into the camera. So yeah.
Well, it's an illusion in the sense that it's intentionally foreshortened to be able to accentuate the curvature. So if you want to call that an illusion, all right, but it's perfectly legitimate to do that. It's exactly like what we were talking about earlier, looking down a 2x4 at the lumber yard to see if it's straight or not. You don't go stand off to the side and look at it. You look down the length of it to foreshorten it. Shout out Mr. Gadget for $2. Moderator.
Carlos, where you been, mate?
We're behaving, Carlos. Or for the most part, we're behaving.
We don't need a moderator in here, blimey.
But just think about it. I mean, if the GPS is giving you the right elevation, how did it get that elevation?
Yeah.
And how is it you can take every point that Jesse took in his data set, and every one of them puts you right on the surface of that bridge? Every one. Usually in the right-hand lane. Unless he was passing somebody. Absolutely right. So they can continue to argue all they want to. And they actually have a bit of an argument with LIGO, because what we don't have are the elevations for the tube itself.
Oh, that's right, yes. You've just got the arms. You've got the construction of the arms, but not the tube that's inside.
Well, the pad, yeah, just the pad.
Yeah, pad, yeah.
And so the assumption is that the arm is following, staying a consistent height above the pad. But I've yet to be able to find a source for the actual elevation data of the tube itself, which would be analogous to the elevations that we have on this bridge.
Yeah.
I'll keep looking, though.
No, I mean, it was a good find finding all of those as-built as it stands. It does make you wonder whether the tubes and that are out there too. But
they're well hidden, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I've been looking. I think I'm going to send an email to somebody. Maybe I can find the name of the gate guard that Rocky talks to.
Poor sod.
Rocky,
I do feel sorry for these people.
Rocky vehemently denies that he talked to a gate guard. he said he talked to somebody in the control room or whatever. Well,
he talked to the guard, didn't he?
I'm sorry. Bev said you talked to a guard. I'm just going by what Bev said. What can I tell you? Yeah, that apparently got him real stirred up. He and Mobius are quite mad at me.
Well, you must be doing something right then.
Yeah. Yeah, I have blocked both of them from my DMs. I'm tired of listening to their crap.
Oh, dear. So I suppose Mobius, yes, he wanted to debate you, but not here.
Right.
Had to be over in Bev's channel. Sorry, not Bev's channel.
It's the On the Level channel, whatever that is.
Well, yeah, I mean, because for a long time people said, "Oh, that's Bev's channel," and he said, "It's not my Discord server. It's not mine. I don't know. I didn't set it up." But you'd think it was his.
Well, there was a point, if I hadn't banned all of them, that you would have thought this was their channel too.
This is true, and that's the problem with them, isn't it? Because you don't get one. They're a bit like the let's be polite and call them travellers that we have over here. You don't take on one; you take on all of them.
They're like a pack of hyenas.
And that's how they seem to operate. You know, you don't get one; you get 20.
No, they're more like locusts.
Well, there was another word I was going to use, but I won't.
Yeah, we're not allowed to use those words. They're
Well, technically,
they're no longer apparently appropriate.
well, they bloody are.
Yeah, I know
They're very
you know
appropriate,
this.
but we're supposed to call them the traveller community. It's like, well, go and travel somewhere bloody else then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that too triggered. I'm sure Bev at one point said his son had set it up. I remember seeing that somewhere when somebody said, "Oh, it's your server," and he said, "No, it's not. It's not my server." He just acts like it is.
Yeah, well, that goes right along with the. I'm not a flat earther. I just don't think water curves.
Yeah, I just don't think the Earth is a globe, but I'm not a flat earther.
I'm not a flat earther though.
Yeah.
The Earth
He
has
spent enough time
terrain.
telling everybody to research flat Earth, though.
Yeah.
He put those bloody stickers over everything. Research flat Earth. Well, if you're not a flat earther, yeah. And that's one of the questions you will never get a direct answer on. I've tried. Lots of people have tried. Okay, then, what is the shape of the Earth? He won't answer that question.
No.
He will not give you a straight answer to it.
I haven't caught him giving a straight answer to much of anything, honestly.
Well, yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, the best I got out of him was, "Oh, it's measured." What is that supposed to mean? Yes, it has been measured. It's not flat.
Yeah, he loves to talk in circles.
Ironically, yeah.
How's George doing today? Hello, George.
Just taking a rest. I've been digging holes and planting fruit trees. Just taking a bit of a break before go out and finish up.
Fruit trees like apple trees or something?
Apple, pear, plum.
Mm.
And I hope to get some cherries.
Stuff that can survive those winters of yours.
Well, these are guaranteed to be Zone 3 hardy.
Oh, wow.
So we'll see whether or not that's real or fake.
Fake cherries.
Yeah, there's a variety of black cherry that's supposed to be able to withstand the winters here. It's not so much a problem with the winters, but the deer. Geez, they just strip the trees. I've got to probably put up an electric fence around them until they, get a few years old, so they have a good hardy bark.
Yeah, we have that over here. They put the little sort of cages around the saplings so that they have half a chance of getting going without anything eating it.
The deer have really got to be a problem around here. People are feeding them, and that they shouldn't be doing that. They think they're doing deer a favor, and all it's doing is making them hang around the residential area. In a quarter mile between here and the exit into Rainier, Minnesota, just a quarter mile stretch, there's been 4 deer kill in the last 6 months just on that stretch. Crossing the highway.
Yeah. We got a few of them around. Fortunately, if anybody seems to clip a deer, they just hit the little ones like the muntjacks. They won't write your car off. The big ones, we've got red deer. They'll kill your car. They'll write it off. That's like driving into a horse.
Yeah. Well, these are whitetail, and they get pretty big. Last weekend, I was working on a trailer and saw this car coming. It was right after sunset, and then heard this. I didn't see the deer, but I heard the thump. And I went over, and sure enough, Bambi was lying in the middle of the road. And I mean, it was a good-sized deer. It took all I could to pull it off the highway onto the side of the highway. I'd say it was probably, a couple 100 pounds. It was a good-sized deer, and really took out the front end of the car.
So you didn't take it home then?
Well, I did call the sheriff, and I called some friends. I don't really care for venison, and I really don't want to mess with gutting a deer.
Yeah.
I got too damn much to do. But I called a few friends that, and they said they're all filled up from last hunting season. They're going to have a hard time eating what they already have. So I just called the sheriff department and said, hey, come and do something about this and get out of here, because otherwise the dogs in the neighborhood are going to be feeding on it. And then deer bones are real treacherous for dogs. They splinter and puncture intestines and stomachs.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, interrupting. Blue, could you give Carlos voice privileges, please?
Yeah, hang on a second. Be with you in just a second, Carlos. I'm over here playing with YouTube. Now let's see. I need to find Carlos. I know where I can find him.
In the welcome section.
Yeah.
Well, I'll catch you guys later. I'm gonna go back to work and get the rest of my trees planted. I'll catch you later.
Okay, George.
Yeah. Get Khan to help digging those holes.
There you go, Carlos. You're all fixed up. You should be able to join now. Get back over here where I can see what I'm doing. Oh, there he is.
Hey.
Hello, Carlos.
Good afternoon, my fellow flatties. I mean, globies.
Here he comes, causing trouble.
Already. He hasn't even been in here 10 seconds. Already starting trouble.
Is flat Earth still a thing?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
I know.
I was hoping it would just fizzle out, but well, there's some money to be made, right?
Yep.
From both sides.
Yeah. Yes.
How you guys been, man?
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that Jose is not doing streams anymore.
Yes, he is.
Well, does he have a different channel?
His original channel got hacked.
No. So this whole time,
Yes.
that's what I was asking if y'all, if Flat Earth was still a thing, because Jose wasn't making any content. Oh man, somebody needs to shoot me a link.
I will put you a link to his channel in the general chat here.
Well, I reached out to him through text message, and I didn't get a reply. Normally, I would get a reply, so I don't know. I figured he was taking a break or something. Well,
No.
this is bittersweet. I mean, that means that he's good, but it means I've been missing out for the last few months. Dang.
Yeah, his channel got hacked. So most of his stuff he didn't have downloaded on his computer. It was all in his channel. So all of his videos were gone. He lost money. There were payments all linked to the channel. Yeah. And
Believe, man.
so he's now Jose JG Boom.
Son of a biscuit eater. And well, I will reach out to him and subscribe and start listening. Man, that's crazy. I've been a bit busy myself, but that's why I really haven't been digging that much into it. But
Hmm.
Yeah, I have my fourth baby. We just had a baby a few months ago. She was born with club feet, which I've never heard of. Apparently, it's common where your ankles are kind of your. I guess your Achilles heel is too short, so your ankles kind of are. Your feet are turned inwards. So
Oh,
we've been having to go to a specialist every week to put a cast on both feet so they can get stretched out. And we just finished doing that, and now she's just wearing a brace for a little while, but she's gonna be just fine. She just needs to have it corrected. So that was being eating up all of my free time, which is one day off a week, and that was the time that we had to go to the specialist, which is like 2 hours and a half from where I live. So
of
that's
course.
been fun.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on having another little one.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
And I'm glad, and I'm glad that although there are problems, that they are solvable and that it's working out for you.
I said, all right, thank you. I said, yeah. As they say, this is baby number 4 and over and out. It's
I,
yeah.
yeah, I stopped at 3.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but man, tell you what, when you having a live in a 2 bedroom home, 15 square feet, 1,500 square feet, yeah, you kind of start drowning.
Hey, shout out to Dora New for £2 or €2. Blue makes money streaming. How does that work? Beats me, Dora. And the
But
triggered
keep trying,
limey.
you'll find out.
Yeah, and the triggered limey for £2. Dora New, no idea.
If 70 plus people was sit there and listen to Blue talk, anybody can make money.
And that's the damn truth.
Yep.
All I can say is that there's some really bored people on this planet.
Yes. Hey, if anybody can sit and listen to Nathan Oakley go off, anybody can make money.
No, rumor has it that there are less and less people want to sit there and listen to that prize chump.
Yeah, I think last time I dropped by there, I said 50 something plus people listening. I like ha ha, and yeah, and I left.
Yeah.
I dropped a super chat.
Yeah, the funny thing is, on an average day, I get more viewers than Nathan gets.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I think everybody switched from flat Earth to cryptocurrency and whatever the next scam is. I mean, I did notice that what's his name? Jeranism. He's been just kind of recycling content, so he's been, snipping, getting snippets of his old uploads, and you're gonna have to do that these days, I guess, to stay relevant and make money. But all they ever talk about is cryptocurrency now, I guess. So I don't know. I'm glad you guys are still around.
Oh, there.
Wow. Something to do in it.
Yeah, there's still enough stupid out there to warrant sticking with it a little longer, I think.
Yeah.
But it's becoming harder and harder to find anything to really talk about in terms of what those guys are doing. They're not doing anything. It's the same old.
There's nothing. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing being done. There's no flat Earth activism. There's no quote unquote experiments / observations. I kind of missed the 2015 flat Earth movement. It was just full of juicy slam dunks.
Oh yeah. Well, even 3 years ago when I started doing it, there was lots of derp out there. It was easy to find something new to talk about.
Like there's no flight between Argentina and what's it called? Australia. Like, have you looked harder? But anyway.
Well, I think the flight is actually between Chile and
Chile, yeah, sorry,
Australia.
not Argentina.
But
But my level of research is just as good as flat Earth. Sorry.
yeah. Well, no, I mean, it's it's which side of the Andes you're going to end up, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
But yeah, because you can go Sydney, Santiago, Johannesburg, Sydney. Although, why you'd want to necessarily?
Yeah, there's the question. Who wants to do that?
Just because you can, don't mean to say you should.
You know, I can understand why a lot of the time especially with the American airlines, of course, they haven't got any choice. You're going to go Sydney, LA, wherever.
Yeah.
Because the American airlines aren't allowed to fly to South America, are they?
You know,
Well,
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, the cabotage rules are usually like, yeah. I suppose they could get. I suppose an American airline could get slots for it if they were to then allow, Australian and Chilean or whatever airlines slots from America to somewhere else.
Yeah, those rules are funny.
I'm sure you can trade that sort of stuff if you really want to.
I did manage to go all the way around one time.
Yeah.
That was interesting. I flew from here to the West Coast, there to Hong Kong. Took a little side jaunt up into China, and then had a meeting I needed to go to in Germany, and then back here. So that was all the way around.
I did. I do remember reading a rather interesting book, and I can't remember who it was by or what it was called now. But the guy who wrote it was following the old Empire flying boat, and the old Qantas and whatever our airline was called in the 30s when they had the flying boats, and he did the trip from London to Melbourne, but stopping at all the places where they used to stop on the way in the 30s, and doing the train across India and doing the train down Italy, because it was just as quick to use the train in some places as it was to try and fly.
Yeah, those old flying boats weren't real speed demons anyway.
No, and of course you tend to want to not fly a flying boat across a subcontinent.
I got to get some better headphones. These don't like staying plugged in. I've got them plugged into the bottom of the mic. Because the damn cord is too short. If I plug it into the computer, I end up snatching the headphones off my head. Every time I lean to the right, the headphones fly off.
Sorry, I was just doing eye drops. I wanted to say I did the same thing at Blue
Yeah, that's
around the world.
Yeah, that's an
Up to the
interesting.
west.
Yeah.
Philly to L.A., L.A. to Melbourne, Sydney to Dubai, Dubai to London, London to Philly.
Yeah.
Not possible on a pancake.
No. Yeah, that's a long trip. You know you've been on a trip when you go on that one.
That would took a month. Weeks in Australia and a week in New Zealand.
I was going to say, probably all right if you get to stop over a fair bit in between the flights.
Yeah, then we spent a week in London just to get back to a reasonable time zone.
And my trip took several weeks. I don't remember exactly how long now, but quite a while. I was in China for 3 or 4 days, and then in Germany for another 3 or 4, I think.
My chick.
Yeah, it's a road trip.
You see my drip?
Huh?
You see my hat?
Oh,
See
I'm
your
not.
face. Oh, he's a shill. There you go.
I'm always representing, man. Well, I went from my globe head to a flat head because I lost about 40 pounds.
Good man.
Look at
I
that.
hope you don't
It's not
find
much curvature. No curvature detected.
I hope
Just-
you don't find it.
Well, my brother found it. He was the one that was skinny. Now he's the big one. But anyway, feel better. My knees are happy.
Yeah, I see you now, Carlos. Looking good.
I've got an
You see
arthritic
that?
knee. I've got an arthritic knee, so I know how that works.
You did what?
I have 2 arthritic knees, so I know how that works.
Oh man. Yeah, there you go.
I'm a lot older than you.
Well, that's yeah. Most of you guys are.
Yeah,
Hey,
my problem's not
Here we go.
knees, not knees as much as it is my hip. I've got right hip is it's going to have to get replaced one of these days.
all that dancing you did in your
I
your
guess.
good days.
I'm not sure how you managed to wear out your ass just sitting on it, but apparently I did.
I don't know, Blue. There's a rumor out there that you could really cut a rug.
That's a vicious rumor for sure. That didn't happen. Irish Stew, Mr. Andret, the One Sin, Professor Phil. Hello, everybody out there in the chat. Thanks for coming. And Brian Leakey.
Brian Leakey's here. Where's IB Hunter?
He'll be here.
Nicky, man, he's looking good these days. Judging by this profile picture.
That's my wife.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna need a citation for that one.
That's good.
Well, he found 2 globes. Dang.
What you up to, Brian?
Not too much, man. She's my wife is a concave Earth. Right when I first heard about flat Earth and mentioned it to her, she said, "There's concave, gotta be." And then the way she described it to me, we don't talk about it very much, but she described it as like a dinner plate. She said it's got to be concave to hold in the water. So you can't call her a flat earther. She won't defend the flat earth.
He's holding
She won't even
something,
really
right?
defend the concave earth. I don't think she really gives a shit, but that's the way she pictures it in her mind.
Well, that's not much picture in your mind.
And that's not really concave, though. That's not how we define a I mean, I guess to each his own. But when I think of a concave Earth, I think of either a half of a sphere, like the inner part of a sphere, either half of a sphere or even
When I
whole.
think of concave, I think of Bilu. I don't know if anybody's been around long
Is a
enough to
concave
remember
model?
Bilu.
Oh, I
Has
remember
anybody
being.
looked into that? Where are the measurements? I mean, does the navigation and shit like that can that work on a concave Earth?
Brian, you haven't even figured out the flat yet. You want to go look in the concave? Come on, man.
I was just curious. I'm always
Well,
curious.
I see that.
Research
I'm just
global
saying.
Earth.
Hate to tell you, Brian, but it's a globe.
Yep. We already
I
know
don't
it's
hate to tell him. Glad to tell him.
I've actually seen the curve. 70,000 feet in a military aircraft. It's as obvious as the nose on your face.
But your eyes are spherical shaped, so it could be your eyes.
So
Oh,
let me ask you a
Gilliam
question. Horizon equidistant all the way around us, despite the model.
If you're at 70,000 feet with a dome above you in a military jet, you have 360-degree field of vision. You can see the curve all around you, and it is beautiful.
Yeah, so the horizon would be on any model. The horizon would be equidistant from me at any height, right?
You can see the curve under you.
Yeah, you can see the curve way closer than that. But is it curve or is it a circular
curve.
site?
It's a curve.
So we don't have an equidistant horizon.
Brian, is your flat Earth infinite or is it a disk?
Oh man, dude, it's not even certain, man. If I'm gonna be perfectly honest, man, I don't think. I don't know what the Earth is. But when I picture it, I usually picture it as a disk. But when I think about it, when I think about Antarctica, I think of the possibility for more land, more ponds, they call it.
Because my question for you is, to be honest, if the surface of the Earth is flat, why is there a horizon?
You know what? I guess my number one. I'll answer that, but let me iterate a little bit on the previous question. I kind of picture it both ways, but I try and think of like a plane over our head of celestial bodies like stars and all that, kind of parallel with the ground most of the time. But as far as what was your next question? I'm sorry.
My real question is, on your flat Earth, why is there a horizon? Can you explain why there is a sharp horizon on your flat Earth?
I don't, without optics, do we really have a sharp horizon? Well, let me ask you this. Let me answer with a question. If you don't like it, then I'll try something different. But would we expect, if we were on a flat section of your globe, would we expect the whole sky to fill up the picture or the whole ground? I mean, how couldn't there be a horizon? Which would you think filled up the whole? Because to not have a horizon, it'd have to be all sky or all ground in the picture. So which one would it be, in your opinion?
Your question doesn't make sense. On a globe, for a start, on a globe you can't have a flat section because it's all curved, and we have we have a reason why there is a sharp horizon. On days when viewing conditions are good, we have a sharp horizon. I live fairly near the beach. I can go to the beach, I can look out over the water, and I see a hard-edged horizon. I would not see that if the surface was flat. I would either keep seeing for as far as I'd see right the way across to the Netherlands or even Denmark, or it would just go fuzzy. But there would definitely not be a hard line of the horizon.
Really? Okay. So where would if I took a picture of a flat Earth, where do you imagine the ground would be in that picture?
Well, the ground would probably be in the bottom half of the photo, and
the bottom half. What would be in the top half?
Sky-ish. But the point is,
wouldn't that be a horizon?
There wouldn't be a horizon. There wouldn't be a sharp horizon. It would be. I don't know. It's almost impossible to compute. I can't see why there would be a horizon.
You just said the ground would be in the bottom half of the picture and the sky would be in the top half. I mean that is a horizon, right?
Well, what I'm saying is a sharp-lined horizon, not a blurry mishmash.
Well, hey Brian, you mentioned
Well,
Antarctica.
I don't think there's many people. I think most of the people in this conversation can imagine a horizon on a flat plane or even a flat section of Earth.
Brian, you can't have a flat section of Earth.
I can't argue with your frame of thought, though. I could just tell you mine.
Brian, you mentioned Antarctica. Would you like to speak to someone who's actually been there?
What's the testimony? What's his testimony?
You're talking to him. I was.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've experienced a 24-hour sun for 2 weeks in Antarctica.
How long is that? Do you mind answering a few questions for me?
Sure, go ahead.
Great. Okay, first off, so were you there for 2 weeks, or did you catch the in the beginning of the summer?
I was there from December. Well, basically 10 days actually on the peninsula in Antarctica. Well, I've experienced, we were fortunate. We had clear blue skies almost the entire time. Sun never set. The sun was always visible in the sky. It was on both sides of the peninsula in the Weddell Sea, which you guys seem to think is the ice wall. There were people on my trip who had taken a boat ride all the way around Antarctica, entire continent. So it's a continent, just what everyone says it is.
You were on the peninsula, was it off the coast of South America you're referring to, like by McMurdo there?
We went from you leave Argentina, you leave Ushuaia. You take a boat across the Drake Passage.
So sorry, you broke up. Go ahead.
Oh, so I was on the peninsula all the way down to bottom, and I was on the other side of the peninsula as well. It's called the Weddell Sea.
Does it get calm the way everybody describes it? Does the water hit a spot where it calms down?
Oh, yeah. The Drake Passage, you either get what they call the Drake Lake, which is fairly smooth, or the Drake Shake. You can have swells of 25 to 30 feet. And we got the Drake Shake both ways. In about a day and a half, you get down to the Antarctic Sea, and that's fairly calm. The Drake Passage is the rough.
I got you. I'm gonna the way I picture it is I picture like the peninsula, and I'm not making a claim here, so you might have to correct me. But the way I pictured it is it's like the peninsula and the shoreline parts are like an extension of the main continent. That's how I had it pictured in my head. And obviously, you're probably gonna tell me I'm wrong, but the way I had it pictured was the main part of Antarctica. When you actually hit it, is you come across an ice wall. To me, there'd be no getting around it. Well, no, shoreline could work, But did you ever see an ice wall anywhere down there?
No.
Also,
Oh,
I heard a Navy documentary about the exploration, and they said that there was like a few million, like I think they said 8 million square miles of either east or west Antarctica, but newly explored of coastline that's not ice. Did you vouch for that?
everything in Antarctica is covered in ice.
That's why it was so strange for me to hear that. It was weird. It's like, why is the Navy tell us about what they've explored and saying that they found a massive stretch, not just something small, massive stretch free of ice.
No, number one, you're not listening. Whoever's explaining that, you're not understanding what they're saying. Okay, once you get to the South Pole, there's a whole continent beyond where the South Pole is. Antarctica is massive. It's basically the size of the United States. It'd be bigger. And you can actually go around Antarctica, and the sea will, the land will always be to one side or the other, depending upon which way you go.
Yeah, I think you misunderstood me. I wasn't referring to that comment that Bird made about on the other side of the South Pole. I've got a conception of there being plenty of land on the other side of the South Pole. I was talking about a documentary where there was I think 4 different planes charting and mapping, and they said they were saying everything they had found, and they found a massive coastline that's free of ice.
Well,
and,
the coastline, the ice doesn't come all the way. Well, I shouldn't say that. There are sections of Antarctica where there's no ice at the shore line, but it's a minimal, like a beach, and that's it. There's no massive areas without ice. Some portions of Antarctica are covered with like a mile of ice.
Yeah, well, maybe I need to rehear it. They didn't say tropical, but they made it sound like it was not freezing conditions, which confused me. Maybe I need to re-listen to it.
Well, the temperatures, depending on where you go in Antarctica, can reach. We were there, got to be about 40 degrees Fahrenheit. I've seen reports from people who were there after me. It got to be 60 degrees Fahrenheit in some locations. But it's a very desolate area. It's beautiful. It's the most beautiful place I've ever seen on the planet.
Yeah, it sounds like
rough.
it, man. Another question there, real quick. Could you imagine 8 million square miles of ice-free coastline? Is that, or even a million? Even a million?
I can't even quantify what that would be. Oh, no.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me, man. I'm gonna re-listen to it, but before I, what's your name again?
Right there, Joe Whip.
Just out of interest, the Antarctic coastline is 11,165 miles.
Is what? Say that. Can you repeat that, please?
11,165 miles.
I'll be going back in 2024. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, so that would be like over 100 million square miles. If you're saying that the
No,
well, no, I just no, because I based it on just like one length being 11,000 and the width being 11,000. So maybe that's
it's approximately 5.4 million square miles.
If that's the case, I obviously am misquoting the amount of. So say that again. What's the total square miles of Antarctica?
5,400,000 approximately.
Yeah, that sounds about right. What about you familiar with any other continents? What about USA or Australia or something to compare that to.
Wow, Google it. I mean, it is one of the larger continents. Obviously, Asia's bigger. It's bigger than Australia. Oh, I can't remember.
I'm very curious. Did the sun circle overhead during them 24 hours? Did it do a circle?
It was always in the sky. I wasn't following the sun around, but every time you looked up, there it was.
Right, right. In other words,
I was busy with penguins and humpback whales and orcas and seals and elephant seals, and to worry about what position the sun was in, other than the fact that it was always above us.
I understand that because, was this before the flat Earth debate?
This was in December of 2019. We were on the ship when COVID broke out in China.
And is McMurdo in that area? You just explain, ain't McMurdo at the South Pole?
McMurdo was above. McMurdo was about halfway around the continent, I think. We're going to McMurdo the next time. We were in I was at a Chilean and Argentinian base there as well. Go to the American base the next time.
I had a lot more questions, man. Hopefully I'll be able to rejoin here shortly, but I got to run for right now. I'll try and come back with a better connection, and I appreciate you answering the questions, but I have some more, and I'm going to try and bring some of the things that I was talking about that I heard so we can go over them together. You can clarify this thing for me. But thank you, guys.
I'm going to dinner in 10 minutes, so I won't be here.
Well, maybe tomorrow or maybe after dinner, I plan on coming back, though, for everybody else. Fair warning.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for you, Brian.
All right, over and out.
Yeah, okay.
Promise, Blue?
I think McMurdo's kind of on the other side of Australia from where you were.
It is. It's a good distance, but the next trip we're taking, we'll get there.
Tell me again where you were. I'll look at it on Google Earth.
Well, you go from the base of the peninsula all the way up to the tip of the peninsula and on the other side.
Okay.
Well, people think the peninsula is the ice wall. I was on the other side of the ice wall. It's the Weddell Sea. Weddell. Problem with going to Antarctica is if you go to a place like McMurdo, some of these places, where like Chile, Argentina, there's a few countries that have scientific, quote unquote, outposts there. There's really nothing to see other than large stretches of flat ice.
Mm.
There is an Adelie penguin colony near McMurdo that has about 200,000 penguins. That's about it. I went for the wildlife and all that stuff. I didn't go for the flat Earth. That was just something to chuckle about while we were there.
Right.
I told the captain about what people think about Antarctica. He had a good laugh.
Yeah, the peninsula is over around 67 degrees west, and McMurdo's about 165 degrees east.
Yeah, it's a good distance.
Oh, yeah.
McMurdo's pretty much south of New Zealand.
It is.
That's why the US base out of New Zealand.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, the US Science Foundation is based here in Christchurch, and they fly pretty much south.
We pulled there was a yacht that was down there. It was sailing around Antarctica. Nice yacht. It got trapped in sea ice, and we had to whack it out of the sea ice so it could get out.
That's the other thing people forget, is that the sea freezes around Antarctica in the winter. A significant amount of the sea freezes. In fact, the US Air Force rely on the sea ice to land the C-17 on the sea ice. The runway's on the sea ice, and that's why they can't fly. They have to resort to the ski-equipped C-130s in midsummer because the sea ice melts, and so they have to wait for it to refreeze in end of January, February. I think our guys flew down about the end of February, and by then the sea ice had refrozen and with sufficient thickness to support the aircraft's weight.
Well, we were on a ship that had, I don't know, it was 100 passengers, maybe something like that. It's a decent sized ship, and we anchored off of, I forget the exact location now, but we anchored off and took some Zodiac boats up onto the land. And I'd say within 15 minutes, looking back, once we got off the Zodiacs, the entire ship was surrounded in sea ice. This was in December. Sea ice accumulates so quickly.
Yeah, it blows around on the wind. The wind pushes it around after it breaks up, so there's great chunks of it, and that's why you've got to be really careful on ships. I've never been to the Antarctic. I'd love to go, but numbers of my colleagues have been. We've got a research activity we've been doing in Antarctica for probably 40 years. So yeah, a lot of my colleagues go down every year to McMurdo, always flying. They prefer to get the C-17 these days because it's just a so much quicker flight. If you get a ski-equipped Herc, it's about twice the flight in a noisy aircraft and jammed in with all the cargo. It's not the most fun thing to do.
No, but it's a lot easier to get to Antarctica from New Zealand than the East Coast of the United States.
Yes, it is. Well, you've got to fly all the way here basically to get to, and even here we're roughly 45 degrees south, so you're still halfway to the South Pole.
I'll tell you, New Zealand is a beautiful country. I was blown away by New Zealand.
Where have you been?
Yeah. We were in Wellington, Auckland, I'm trying to think of the city that's populated by three-quarters of the population is under 25 years old. In the South Island. Oh my God. Name of that. I'm drawing a blank. I'm having a senior moment.
Likewise, just don't ask me too much of my US geography. That would be pretty awful as well.
Yeah, it's a nice city, but we didn't get to Christchurch. That's the one city we didn't visit while we were there.
Yeah, it's the largest city in the South Island.
This place is known for its bungee jumping, and you go for the Zodiac boats.
Oh yeah, that's Queenstown.
Queenstown.
Yeah, that's about 5 hours south of Christchurch drive.
Yeah, not the Zodiac boats. There's boats that skim on the water, jet boats at like ridiculous speeds.
Yeah,
it was awesome, by the way.
Yeah, we had my partner's parents were here, or must be 20 years ago, and we took them up the Waimak. A friend of mine's got a jet boat, and we boated up the Waimak, and they were it was one of their highlights of their trip. Just the steep canyons and the gorge, and they were just blown away.
Yeah, there was some road we had to go down. It's like one of those top 10 dangerous roads in the world. Can't think of the name off the top of my head. To get down to where the jet boats were. We took a helicopter back.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I've jet boated a lot of the New Zealand rivers, both in the North and South Island, and really cool. You get to see some different landscapes that you don't see from the road.
That's for certain. Loved it there. The only problem with New Zealand is if you wanted to buy a house down there, it costs a fortune.
Yeah, don't go there. That's a big topic at the moment here, a real big topic politically. It's been like that for a long time. It's partly driven by all the overseas people wanting to move here.
Yeah, I know. Same thing in Australia. Same problem. Yeah. When we were in Sydney, they were complaining about that constantly.
Yeah, there's always somebody that's got more money than the locals. That's the problem.
Yep.
But it's still, we're just heading into winter here, and it's still a reasonably nice day. I'd say it's 16 degrees C outside at the moment. So what's the time? Oh, 9 o'clock. So it's only 9 o'clock in the morning.
16, so that's 32.
Double it, man. Double it, man.
At 30.
It's a rough rule of thumb to get to Fahrenheit.
Yep. Well, it's 70 freedom units here, so more temperatures.
Yeah. That's better than here in spring in the UK.
Yeah.
I was at a classical concert, Alan. You'll appreciate this. At St. Martin's in the Field at Trafalgar Square.
Yeah.
The conductor, it's a beautiful old church, and they do concerts there several days a week. And the conductor came out and he said, "Well, we're going to do all these 4 seasons. We're only going to do fall and winter because everyone knows there's no spring and summer in the UK."
I don't know. We do sometimes get a bit of summer. Doesn't last very long then.
It got a big laugh. That was a beauty.
Yeah, my father spent 3 years in England in World War II. He said summer in England was one afternoon in July.
Yep. That's about it.
That's about it.
Well, it's time for me to go to dinner with my wife, so I'll try to stop in when we get back.
Yeah, you're unmuted here. Yeah, Joe. Drop back by if you get a chance. Always enjoy talking to you.
Thank you. It's always a blast to talk to you too, Blue. Thanks.
Yeah.
And Alan,
All right,
too.
buddy.
I don't want to forget Alan.
Yeah, I was going to say, just to show you what we get in the countryside, we don't get beautiful churches like St. Martin's in the Field. We get big piles of flint all mortared together.
Yep.
To make a good solid round towered church.
Oh, by the way, Alan, before I leave, my condolences on Norwich.
Hey, it's a good job I don't like football, isn't it? You know for well you're not going to get a rise out of that one, Joe.
I know. I keep trying though. Get easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bricks and mortar don't hang together very well here. We tend to shake things up and turn them into a big pile of rubble.
Yeah.
Our cathedral here is just in the process of being rebuilt after the Christchurch earthquakes, where it was extensively damaged. So, yeah, we really haven't got a lot of old buildings left now. The majority of them have all gone.
Well, I was going to say, you never compared with the picture of the building that I just posted. You don't really have old buildings anyway, do you?
No, well, New Zealand was only really settled in call it 1840 or something like that. So it's very recent, very, very recent.
Yeah. Yeah, that end of that church is about 800 years old.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, 800 years, that would be very approximately 3 alpine earthquakes with a reoccurrence of around 300 years. So, just anything to have survived that long here would have to have survived, 3 magnitude 8 earthquakes, and probably very unlikely to.
Yeah.
You know,
I
the
guess
Christchurch earthquake was only a magnitude 7.2 or 7.1. So
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah.
30 times the energy to the next quake, and it's we're waiting, so to speak. It's slightly overdue on average, but yeah, it might be another 50 years or so. But yeah, it's unlikely we'll make it much past another 50 or 60 years, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I guess we're really, really lucky. Very rarely moves here.
Hmm.
You're not sitting on a major fault line.
Nope.
No. I mean, I do remember the great Norwich earthquake of 1995.
What was it, magnitude 4 or something?
No, it's probably a magnitude 0.4.
What?
Let's just say I was in a lecture hall at the University of East Anglia at Norwich, which was kind of built on top of the building and hanging over a little bit, and we felt a slight vibration through the floor, and it was like, what the hell was that? And then we found out a bit later from watching the news that it was an earthquake. So the building kind of vibrated a little bit, vibrated just enough that we kind of like, what the heck was that?
Did you say 1994?
It was 94 or 95.
Yeah, I think I've just found reference to it. It was a magnitude 1.4.
Oh, 1.4. Okay.
I think following the Christchurch earthquake, we had something like 200 magnitude 4 or above aftershocks. I'm just pulling that number a little bit out of my head, but I'd imagine it was of that order. It would be in the hundreds of magnitude 4 or plus earthquakes following the magnitude 7. So we just got really sick of being startled by earthquakes. You know, that was the thing. You'd be sort of shaken, and then a few hours later you'd get another jolt and another jolt.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
no, I think it's stronger than that.
Yeah, we don't particularly get earthquakes here, which is why such a tiny thing, big news for us.
Yeah.
And I do feel for anybody who does live on a fault line and suffers with.
The Christchurch earthquake had a very high vertical acceleration because the fault was quite steeply inclined, and it was more than 2G in vertical acceleration. There were rocks on parts of the Port Hills that actually were punched into the air and landed not back where they were sitting. And I'm talking about serious chunks of basalt, weighing in the many hundreds of kilograms that were punched into the air by the vertical acceleration. What part of the UK you're in, Alan?
I'm in the Norfolk Broads. I live just near a little village. I can, if I look out of my window, I can see the area of the village of Potter Heigham where all the boatyards and everything are, and the bridge.
Oh, I have been there. Very cool place. My dad had a aunt who lived in Norwich, and I went to visit her in the mid-90s.
Yeah, well, I'm originally from the easternmost suburbs of London, but I joined the Royal Air Force as a radar technician and got posted to a place called Neatishead in Norfolk. And when I came out, I stayed here.
Well, that's very common, isn't it? Once you move somewhere, you put down roots and you stay, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I was married at the kids. I left the Air Force. I went to the university in Norwich, then did a degree, electronic engineering. You know, as you do. Like you say, got roots here now, and I wouldn't want to move back to the city.
No, we moved out to the country. We're just slightly to the east of Christchurch by about 15, 20k. And we moved out here in the country about 10 years ago. And yeah, I wouldn't like to live in the city now. We've got a 10-acre block here and enough room for a few antennas and bits and pieces. So yeah, it's really nice, and yeah, wouldn't care to live in the city. And Christchurch isn't really a city on the scale of world cities. It's just a little town, you know, but still, it still has the hustle and bustle, etc. And that I don't miss living in the country.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that, you know, as cities go, Norwich is pretty good as well.
No, it's a lovely city, Norwich. I spent a month there staying with my aunt when I visited the UK. So yeah, it's a cool place. But,
yeah, I kind of wish I could. I kind of wish I could still drive, but yeah, unfortunately, health stopped that. But so it's gone from half an hour to get to Norwich to an hour and a half.
Right.
Public transport is fun.
Yeah, and of course, Norfolk and that is not the most populated part of the UK either. So you don't quite get the same level of service, do you?
It wasn't too bad. It was a roughly hourly service, and during COVID they were allowed to relax that to a 2-hourly service, and of course post-COVID they haven't put it back.
Yeah.
So 2-hourly bus services. I mean, it's all right going somewhere because, you know, I have to use a wheelchair. So, you know, I go out, go to the bus stop, get on the bus. I always get a seat on the bus. It's funny that.
Bring your own.
You know? But yeah, bring your own. It's great. Always get a seat on the bus. You know, as long as there's not another wheelchair user on there, then you don't get a seat on the bus. Oh well, yeah. But I have to get a bus from Yarmouth, that bus from the village to Great Yarmouth, and then I have to get the bus from Great Yarmouth to Norwich. So that kind of puts a big extra chunk on it from just driving straight into the city.
Yes. Yeah, you miss driving when you're relying on it. Like, I mean, our public transport here is pretty minimal, really. You wouldn't want it. So it's okay in Christchurch itself, but once you get outside the city, it's a bit like you are, Alan. It gets pretty ropey and unreliable, one might say.
Oddly reminiscent of public transport in the UK, then.
Yeah. Yes, we completely rely on our cars. Fortunately, I'm of the age where I can still drive, so there's no problem getting around. But you know, we're just, you know, we're not far. We're on the edge of the city, but still, it's, you know, it's you know, it's 15 kilometers sort of thing to the nearest shop. So yeah, makes a small drive.
Yeah, I mean, I could get a vehicle with hand controls to deal with the problems I have with my legs and stuff. My problem is I get constant headaches as well. So
no, that's not good.
No, and quite good at suddenly going from being awake to being asleep.
Yeah, that's probably not a good thing while you're driving.
Exactly. Well, farmers saw me fall asleep a couple of times yesterday while live streaming with somebody else.
Yes. Yeah, that's not a good habit to have when you're driving.
No.
Ooh.
Oops, turn the mic back on. Wonder what's up with this damn bot that keeps showing up in the live chat.
Oh yeah.
How do we get rid of that thing?
You don't, because you can ban them, right? You can ban it rather than just keep timing it out.
Well, yeah, don't.
I
don't think
you would have to do that rather than the Spanish people.
I don't have a way to ban the thing though. I've tried that.
I think hide on channel works. I think that's what they call it.
Yeah.
I think hide on channel is effectively the ban hammer.
I think some of the folks out there though are, instead of hiding the thing, they keep timing it out.
Yeah.
Or deleting it. Don't do that. Just hide it.
When you hide it, it deletes all the ones above it. It's quite clever like that.
That's good if that's what it's doing.
That's why there's lots of them on there now that's deleted by 9 o'clock here.
Yeah. Because he hid it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing to do. Hide the thing. Don't time it out. But that just started at the last stream. The same bot.
Yeah.
Wish I could get rid of it. It's just a nuisance.
I would like to get rid of spam email, but unfortunately, there's more of it than the real stuff.
Oh, this is hilarious. Zep Tippy says Bev said he'll join your show to have a debate if you unban him.
Oh dear.
Well, let's see. What could we do here?
Bev is Brian, is Nathan, is Dirth, is Daff. No, Daff. Oh, is there a Daff? Because I thought Daff was a brand of lorry. Brand of lorries.
Yeah, Bayland Daff.
Well, although originally Daff was a Dutch company, wasn't it?
Yeah, well they.
Okay, we'll leave it up to the viewers. How's that?
Well, yeah, just Bev, of course, nobody else.
Yeah, just Bev.
Yeah, it's just Bev.
Oh yeah, all over that. Because poor old boy, he's wrongry. Nobody wants to go and talk to him. I mean, you know, no surprise.
Yeah, Zep Tippy. We got a poll going on here to see who wants to unban Bev.
Be good for a laugh.
Yeah, it could be. Not looking bad so far. 28 votes. 64% says yes, unban him. Huh. Carl Christensen in the chat says, let Bev in and keep Brian Lee out. I'm not sure that's a good trade. Have to think about that. Mike M says, yeah, what's the worst that could happen? He gets banned again. Yeah. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. He's still streaming. Or it appears he is. I'm watching Zip Tippy having a conversation over in Bev's channel, in his chat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see they've been hit by the same bot that you have.
Yeah. Looks like it, doesn't it?
Yep. Yeah, it's exactly the same one, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing with bots. Do the same crap everywhere.
YouTube's got to be able to do something with that damn thing.
You'd have thought so.
The problem is they're probably been written by people who understand software better than a lot of us.
Yeah, and of course, as with everything, you know, the war on the spam bots moves in each direction fairly equally. You know, they think new stuff up, they find new ways of blocking it, so they find new ways around it, and on we go.
Yeah, it's just a constant battle going on all the time between the two lots of tech experts. You know, they plug a hole and they make another one.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, 38 votes. We've got, I'll end the poll. Survey says unban Bev. What do you know?
So Bev is going to join?
Well, no.
I don't know. Have no idea. Let's see. Okay, there you go. You are not banned, Bev. So we'll see what happens. It's Thurston out there is trying to will him into the chat, it looks like. Bev. Skateboarding Jesus for €5. Buy Bev some consolation Kleenex.
Oh, that's a good comment.
I like it.
What does Bev actually want to discuss?
I don't know. So skateboarding Jesus, another €5. Did you do that twice on purpose, my friend? Not that I can do anything about it, I don't think. But I think you could go back and revoke one of them or both of them if you wanted to. I think you can, I'm not sure. Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat. Thanks for dropping in, guys. Biggest doggus.
Bev does his show from Discord, doesn't he?
Yes,
Yeah.
he does. He's currently arguing with Bebby.
Ah.
Yeah, I think that was on his schedule today. He and Bebby were going to have a discussion of some sort. But there you go. We took care of it. Zeptepi has reported accurately that Bev is not banned on this server. So if he shows up, we'll talk.
Fair enough.
Mic check.
Hello, Mike.
I got mine. Who was doing mic checks? Oh, Alim, is that you?
That was OLM.
Okay.
No,
Welcome, sir. Good to see you. What you been up to, man? And there's IB.
Oh, right. I think, Blue, I'm going to love you and leave you because I'm knackered. I think I need to go to bed.
Are you tired, farmers?
Oh, yeah, I've earned me money today.
Yeah, it's 10:30 over where you are, isn't it?
Yep, yeah, just gone. Yeah, I got. I was awake at 3 for some bizarre reason this morning. I don't know why. And I did manage to get back to sleep for a little bit, but I'm now really starting to feel it. So, yeah.
Well, glad you made it.
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed it. That's a nice sort of relaxing cool down for the evening. It's getting bloody hot in here as well. Yeah, no, it's been good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun listening to Joe talk about Antarctica.
You know, I'd love to go there.
Oh, me too.
Same here.
Yeah, I think it's one of those places that it'll always be on the bucket list, and you'll never, never quite make it. But hey, you never know.
Well, most of the planet's on my bucket list, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'll never get to any of those places, but Thank God for the internet and Google Earth. I can visit without ever, leaving the office here.
Yeah.
Yes.
I too.
I think I would need to have the all-terrain, fully tracked electric wheelchair rather than the one I've got at the moment. If I was to visit anywhere interesting like Antarctica, actually, I'd quite like the all singing, all dancing, tracked go anywhere wheelchair for this bit of Norfolk for the days when it's not, for when I don't have to wait for 4 days after it's rained to a lot of places.
Yes, I can imagine.
Because, yes, Alan, you can drive up and down the farm tracks. Don't get stuck. In my two-wheel drive EV.
Yep.
I agree with you, Zep Tippy. He says we'll see if Bev actually comes. He told me he would, but that he couldn't because you banned him. I don't think he'll come. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And then you got silly people over there in his chat saying things like, Blue is obsessed with male private parts. Now, wait a minute.
Really?
Who is it constantly saying those silly things about me? I don't believe you ever hear, I don't think anyone ever hears me say anything like Blue's balls. And those guys say it constantly.
I guess that's what you mean.
Who's obsessed with male genitalia, folks? It ain't me.
They're just like little kids, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
they
that's all they've got.
act like such children.
Yeah.
Well, when what you're saying is just so totally wrong, what else can they say? They can't say anything that's sensible because everything they say isn't sensible. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, right. That's enough dirt for one night. Right. I will leave you guys to it and see you.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow or Saturday. If Terry's if Terry's fixed all his problems, bless him.
I won't be around Saturday, so.
No.
If I am, it'll only be for a short time.
Yeah.
I had a long conversation with Terry today. It would seem he's fixed his audio problems.
It would seem he's what?
It would seem he has fixed his audio.
Well, fingers crossed for Saturday, I know.
Yeah, he had a real mess going.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, that was a nightmare. Right, I will leave you, and I will see you guys later.
All right, farmers. Take care, man.
Yeah, you too. Night, night.
Later, farmers.
Laters.
Mic check. Mic check.
It's working.
Yeah, I'm on my phone now. I was just going to say that, I have Bev on, but he has to agree to answer direct questions.
Be kind of handy.
Because I've asked him a couple questions before and he just clams up. So it'd be more useful if he could do that.
I've noticed the same thing. Anytime anybody tries to, it Bev's like trying to thumbtack Jello to the wall.
Yeah. I said, I think it was something like, so if the Earth isn't flat, okay, it's got hills. So if it's not flat, what shape is the Earth? Then he goes into the ether.
Yeah. I just want to know if he believes the GPS elevations on Pontchartrain Bridge. Yes or no? Those elevations all show the bridge, the flat parts of it, you know, low parts, all consistently about 5.8 meters above the surface of the water. Is that right? Do you believe that?
Because it all boils down to their definition of level and the fact that you can have parallel curved lines.
Absolutely.
Which is what the bridge is. The bridge is is basically a parallel curved line.
Yep.
Well, is that non-Euclidean? Right, you'll ask the question, and he'll answer the question with the question. Red herring.
Yeah. Somebody posed a good question, which was, what would the horizon look like on a flat Earth? You know, it would just be a fuzzy mush, and it's not. And secondly, if you were to then take some optics and look at that horizon, if it was to be flat, you should be able to then see further, you know. And you take Hawaii, for instance, there's some pretty big telescopes sitting on the top of the mountains in Hawaii. If the Earth was flat, you ought to be able to point them and see the mountains in Japan. There's nothing in between. There's no hills, no nothing, and yet you can't. And there's a simple answer: the Earth ain't flat.
Yeah, you should be able to see Everest from Sri Lanka. It's a straight shot.
Exactly. You know, I did some calculations on the Rayleigh criteria, and the telescopes on Hawaii are plenty big enough to resolve Mount Fuji in Japan.
Yeah, there's plenty of really major mountains all over the place that you really ought to be able to see, but you can't see them. There's no reason why you can't go to downtown Kansas City, go up in one of the really tall buildings there, and see the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, and they make some stupid comment like, you know, there's some whatever, but okay, there's a way around that. You just take a decent sized telescope with you and you still can't see them. So, you know. Yeah, they keep talking about all sorts of rubbish, but you just need more magnification, and it would defeat all the rubbish they talk, but you still can't see them, and it's a really simple reason. They're over the curve.
Fred Bailey says, well, I can see Blackpool Tower. Yes, but Fred, you pretty much live almost in Blackpool, don't you?
Ace Fox is correct. Can't see Mount Rainier from Spokane or Mount Whitney from L.A. Why is that?
Well, I could guess why you can't see anything much from LA. Smog.
Well, there's not much of that between Kansas City and those mountains just west of Denver. And those things are 14,000 feet tall. They are really big.
Yeah, I was just being specific on the LA, from what I understand.
Yeah. Well, yeah, LA's a pretty smoggy place, but
it does have moments where it clears up, though. When I lived in East LA, there was a mountain right in front of us that you couldn't even see in the morning. But in the afternoon, sometimes it would clear it up. At different times, you would be able to see it, but usually not.
Yeah. I remember reading a novel, can't remember what it was, and the protagonist is somewhere in Los Angeles, and he'd been staying in a hotel, and he sort of comes out and goes back into reception and asks receptionist where the mountains came from, because all of a sudden it got very clear and he could see the mountains. Okay, so LA smog isn't that bad anymore, and there's plenty of clear days. Fair enough. Good to learn these things. The repossessed man. Yeah, they can somehow organise conventions. I think that was Davis that could organise conventions.
okay, had to step away for a minute. So what else we got going on? Hey, shout out to Ernie Matthews in the chat. May Blue live long and prosper.
that was yesterday. Oh no, that wasn't. That was sorry, wrong franchise.
I really like that prosper part.
Yeah, I do like the idea of that.
Yeah. Ace Fox says we're still here. 2 hours and 21 minutes into it, and we're still here. Hello, Mark 10. Ace Fox thinks I'm giving Joker beer for dinner. No, I'm not. He's a sloppy drunk. I don't like him when he's drunk. I've never given Joker any beer, come to think of it. But that's probably because I don't think I've had any beer in the house in the last year. I do my beer drinking properly. I go to the bar. I meet my buddies on Wednesday afternoon. We have a couple of beers and tell the same lies, just in different order.
Yeah.
Is that not the same all over the world?
It is the same all over the world, especially when we had lots more Legion clubs with bars and Royal Air Forces Association clubs with bars. A lot of those have closed down. Properties have been sold off and stuff. It's a bit of a shame, really. But yeah. But of course, in the village I'm in, we don't have a pub. So they do pub night in the village hall once a month. So I am definitely going out for a beer tomorrow night.
All right, there you go.
How can you have a village without a pub?
Very easily. The two pubs in the village closed because
the Logalur you did them in.
Well, okay.
No, God no, they closed years and years ago.
Oh, really?
No. Demographics. The village is full of old people. I'm in my late 50s. I'm a younger person in this village. People with young families. A few, but not very many.
Ace Fox 1 in the chat says he's going to see a B-29 in flight next week.
Yeah, lucky so and so.
Where is that going to be? I haven't heard about that. I didn't know there were any flying B-29s.
2.
Are there?
Now? Yeah, they rebuilt another one. A number of years, not a big number of years ago. Now. That was the conversation we were having in the chat. Fairchild AFB. Wherever Fairchild AFB is.
What's the name of it again?
Fairchild. Next weekend. 13th through the 15th of May.
I do not know where that is.
I'm going to guess it's in California. From the conversation inside chat, Ace Fox 1 is in Los Angeles, somewhere in that environs.
Spokane, Washington. That's where it is. Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. I wonder who rebuilt it.
Well, there was Fifi's been around a long time. I think that was owned by the same mob that have got a couple of B-17s and one of the B-24s. The one painted up as I don't know why do these names. It was the B-24 that did 120 missions without a single injury of a crew member, based at Rackheath, about 15 miles from where I currently am. Yeah, that's it. Fifi's been flying for many decades, and the recent dock.
I wasn't aware that there were that they had a flying B-29, or maybe I knew it and forgot about it or something.
Yeah, Collins Foundation owned Fifi.
Yeah, the funny how certain of the warbirds were. You can find dozens of examples of flying P-51s, for instance, or P-47s, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Looking for a flying P-38 is like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Yeah. Is it one or two?
Yeah, at most. There's
some even rarer ones like the English Typhoon. I think there's only two airframes in existence, one in the Royal Air Force Museum in Hendon, and I believe somebody's restoring one to flying condition.
They are trying, yeah. I don't know how successful they'll be. I think one of the problems they have is an engine.
Yeah. Well, that was a really revolutionary engine and incredibly complex.
Yeah.
Getting parts of it will be very difficult.
The Napier Sabre.
It's effectively two engines bolted together, isn't it?
If I remember right, yeah, it's a 24-cylinder engine as well.
Yeah. And it's a sleeve valve engine. It's quite different to most of the other World War II style engines.
Yeah. Because also the Bristol Centaurus radial is a sleeve valve as well. That that was the British equivalent of the big radial in the Corsair and the Bearcat and stuff. And was in our Sea Fury. Well, was in the Sea Fury which you New Zealanders also operated, of course.
Yeah, I wasn't aware we ever flew the Sea Fury. I knew we had Corsairs way back, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure. I've seen Sea Fury with RNZ, Royal New Zealand, Royal New Zealand Navy on. I know the Aussies had them.
yeah, I don't think they ever flew here. I don't think so. Because the Royal New Zealand Navy has only, to my knowledge, ever flown helicopters.
Yeah, well, this was like Korean War period.
Okay. Because the Aussies had some aircraft carriers way back. The Melbourne and can't remember what the other one. They were ex Royal Navy aircraft carriers.
Yeah.
One of them collided with a US destroyer and cut it in half.
Probably.
Yeah, I saw on the web recently a photo of the two halves sort of floating together.
That was rude.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah, interestingly, I see the US have sent the Kitty Hawk to the scrap, and that collided with a Russian submarine.
Yeah. I actually know somebody who is a YouTuber who served on the Kitty Hawk.
Yeah, the one P-38 Lightning that I know of that flies is one they call Glacier Girl. It was one of the airplanes that got lost on its way to the European theater, along with a flight of B-17s. There were a number of P-38s and B-17s that were crossing the Atlantic, and they got caught in bad weather, couldn't make it to England, and turned around and couldn't make it back to any place in Greenland. So they all landed on a glacier, right? All the planes were damaged, but I think everybody on board all of those airplanes survived just fine. It took 2 or 3 weeks for them to finally rescue the guys, but they got them all out of there. Problem was they couldn't get the airplanes out. The airplanes were all damaged, right?
Yeah.
Well, now you fast forward to the late 1980s, and a group of crazy people went up there and looked around on that glacier and figured out where those airplanes were. Only by now, after all those years, they were buried under a couple 100 feet of ice.
Yep.
So these guys came up with this gizmo that looked a lot like an Apollo capsule that pumped hot water through this thing, and it just melted itself down through the ice and pumped the water out. And they were actually after one of the B-17s. But they, when they finally got down there and tunneled out around all those, the B-17s were just too badly damaged by the pressure of the ice and stuff. But they ran across one of the P-38s, and they decided they would bring that thing up. They could bring it up in pieces and transport it back and maybe do something with it. Well, it ended up in Middlesboro, Kentucky, which is a place for me, when I had my airplane, I could fly there in about 30 minutes or so.
Right.
And they built a hangar for a guy that owns that part of Kentucky, basically. Built a hangar there for it, and they went through a meticulous restoration of that P-38, all from the original drawings. And I went there many, many times and actually helped out a little bit, putting old Glacier Girl back together, and they finally got her flying again. I don't know. That's been quite a while, maybe 15 years ago or more now, but it's quite a thing.
Wikipedia's listing 10 flyable P-38s in the US.
Yeah. I was going to say in 2000, definitely at least 2 flyable P-38s, because Ace Fox happily posted a photograph of the pair of them flying together in the Discord live chat, and a Sea Fury with the Centaurus engine in it.
As I recall, at the time Glacier Girl went on her check flight, that was the only flying P-38 anywhere in the world.
Probably.
Now I know that they've done some more since then.
Obviously, you'll know the film The Battle of Britain.
The what?
From the movie from the 1960s, The Battle of Britain. I thought you might have. As an aviation guy, I thought you might have heard of that movie.
The back of the what?
The Battle of Britain.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I do. Yeah, I didn't understand what you said. Okay.
Sorry, Blue. I should have enunciated better. There's a famous scene where the Polish are flying Hurricanes.
Yeah.
And they all start peeling off to go after the Germans. There were so few flying Hurricanes at the time, i.e. 2 of them in the world, that all the aircraft you see peeling off are actually Bouchons, which are Spanish-built Messerschmitt 109Gs. They actually had to have Messerschmitts stand in for Hurricanes in the movie. Although I went to a show back in 2019 before the world went mad. I went to a show at Duxford, and they had 7 of the 9 flyable Hurricanes in the UK. Sorry, 7 of the 8 flyable Hurricanes in the UK. Plus, there's a flyable one in America. But they had all but one of the Hurricanes at the show. It's the biggest formation of Hurricanes seen since the end of World War II.
Wow. Harry Warp in the chat says Glacier Girl was recovered in 1992, and that is correct. But the story started long before 1992. It took a long time for those guys to assemble the right group of investors, or the right investor at the end of the day, and get prepared for that trip and get up there and make the recovery. It was absolutely fascinating. They had sort of like a little museum. I guess it's probably still there. And some of the stuff, like the IFF system, the forerunner of today's transponders. Our aircraft had a thing on there called an identification friend or foe. And it was really pretty secret stuff. So they pull those IFF units out of all the airplanes and shot them full of holes with a 45 caliber sidearms. And they've got the one that came out of Glacier Girl in a case up there. That thing is just bullet ridden all to hell. But just in case somebody went up there and found them, they didn't want that getting into the hands of the enemy, so to speak.
Yeah.
But they
Well, it's
pulled
not
up
so
one.
much-
This was fascinating. They pulled up one of the 50 calibers from Glacier Girl, got it up topside, dried it out enough, and actually shot the damn thing at a 55-gallon drum. They've got a movie of it, a video, or it was a movie at the time, probably, maybe a video, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, after all those years, the damn weapon still fired. The tires still had air in them, and when they had, of course, they were all dry rotted. But when they had the landing gear and tires and stuff, when all the gear rebuilt, they actually extracted the air that was in the original tires and put it back in the new tires. It's crazy the stuff those guys did.
Yeah, them M2 machine guns are really hard.
Yeah, that thing was bristling with them too.
4 in the nose.
Yeah. Yep. That's a damn big airplane. A lot bigger than you think. When you walk up to it, you think, God damn, this thing's a monster. And then you get up on the wing and look into the cockpit and think, holy crap.
How do you get in there? It's too tiny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I was laughing at what Harry Watts put in the live chat. Pilot, IFF doesn't work. Okay. Mechanic, IFF doesn't work in off mode.
Yeah. Check your Oscar November switch. Yeah. But it was fun. I watched that the rebuild of that thing. As they went on with it, it was fascinating, really.
Yeah.
None of the skin survived. A good bit of the structure did. Of course, the more bulky parts like landing gears and engines and props and all of that could be rebuilt. But it was just a mashed up mess by the time they got to it.
Well, I mean, it's amazing you can no words. Why are they so difficult? Why are words so difficult, Blue?
Because they're made out of letters.
I was going to say it's amazing what you can do with a.
You're restoring those old aircraft is really just about time and money, isn't it? You know, you can rebuild anything. You know, the engine parts are probably the difficult stuff, but the skin, you know, it's only folded aluminium, and so you can still go down to the local store and buy the aluminium. So it's just a matter of putting in the hours and reforming and remaking stuff. But at least you can do it. But you know, some of the engine components must be getting really difficult to reproduce. It's not quite as easy just to, you know, make some of those complicated engine components versus, you know, fabricating sheet metal. It's still mostly the technology is still there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you have a quick look in the live chat, Blue, I posted 2 photographs of the same Spitfire.
Let's see.
What? One in May of 2018.
Yeah.
One in May of 1940. To May 1940. That's Sangat Beach in just outside Calais in France. And yes, they are Wehrmacht soldiers climbing all over it. Stayed there for about 40 years.
Really?
Yes.
Is that the Mark I they restored?
That's the Mark I they restored that was worked on by Guy Martin, the TV personality who is famous for being a motorbike racer. Does the Isle of Man TT.
Yeah, I have seen a bit of the YouTube because there's quite a bit on YouTube about that aircraft, isn't there?
Yes. In fact, the guy who paid eventually ended up paying for the restoration, had 2 Mark I's done, and he gave that one to the Imperial, sold the other one off. And I believe it got packed up and sent to the States. But unfortunately, that seems to be a trend because the 2 Mosquitoes that were rebuilt down at is it Hamilton?
Near Auckland by Avspec.
Yeah, by Avspec. That's it. They both ended up in the US as well.
Yeah, I'm showing it on YouTube right now.
Yeah, I took the colour photo and the black and white I found on the web.
Yeah, I'd love to go back to Duxford. It's I was there in the 90s before they built all the new hangars, and it was absolutely awesome then. But they tell me from people I've talked to that have been there since that it's just the place to visit.
It is. It is. I mean, I could probably spend the next 3 days stuffing photographs from Duxford into the Discord. I might have quite a lot. I might end up having to stop and export a few more from my Lightroom catalogue first, but you know, I do have a fair number of shots from Duxford. Yeah, like this Battle of Britain formation with a Bristol Blenheim Night Fighter, a Mark I and a couple of Mark II Spitfires, 5 Hurricanes and a Gloucester Gladiator.
The Gladiator must be quite rare as well.
For many years there was one, but then again, you know, another one was restored at Duxford. So now there's 2. There's one owned and operated by the Shuttleworth Collection, and there's one operated out of Duxford. And I believe there's been work going on at Duxford on a boat fighter as well. Don't know how far along they are with that.
Rare.
Yeah, I think they've got one at Hendon at the RAF Museum, and again, this is an old photograph, very old photograph. So I don't know what the status of it is now, but yeah, plenty that they were working on. I don't know if they were just restoring it ground or whether they were putting it back together to fly. The hangar it was in, I would expect it was being got ready to fly.
Yeah, there's different levels of restoration depending on what you intend to do.
Yeah.
They can do just cosmetic restorations to them, and which is something they did at one time to the Memphis Belle.
Yeah.
They made her look pretty again and put the thing in a pavilion down on the Mississippi River there in Memphis. But they've moved it now. I don't remember if they moved it to the Smithsonian, moved it somewhere, but I think they did a complete restoration of it.
Yeah, I thought they moved it to the United States Air Force Museum. Right.
I don't think so because Shoo Shoo Baby was already there.
Yeah.
And Shoo Shoo Baby was also a 91st Bomb Group airplane.
Yeah. Which, of course, is only just up the road from Duxford.
Right. Well, guys, we're coming up on 2.5 or 3 hours here shortly, so I think I may make an early evening of it. Thank everybody out in the YouTube chat for showing up. And we'll shut this thing down, and you guys we can hang around in here and chat all we want to. Let's see, I could put a link to the Discord out there. Maybe. Let's see if I can find a link. There's a link. So paste that momentarily. And then we'll see what happens. But it's been fun, been a good conversation. Not a whole lot of fussing and fighting. That's probably because Brian didn't show back up.
I think we had 100% agreement, more or less.
Yeah, something like that. So there you go. Huh?
That's Ace Fox just being really, just really kind of rubbing my nose in a little bit. All those photographs of the mosquito.
Yeah.
Including one in flight. But I'll let you off. I have seen a mosquito fly. It did happen. So, yeah, that was an awful long time ago.
Was that the one they crashed?
Yeah, that was the one they crashed.
The surprising here in New Zealand, there's a surprising number of wrecks. I think the Air Force Museum has about 3 in various states of repair. And Ferrymead has 1 as well, and I think there might be 1 or 2 in the North Island as well. So they're all in pretty poor condition, but there is a number of bits of them laying around in various places.
Yeah, we want to keep those things alive if we can.
Problem with the mosquito, of course, is it's wood, which you would love to.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot of them got left outside, and of course, untreated plywood probably hasn't survived very well.
Well, there's that, and then finding people qualified to actually work with it might be fairly difficult. but
right. It's a whole other skill, you know, and nobody builds aircraft out of wood now. The closest you get is composite, but yeah, certainly not. I don't think many people build aircraft out of wood anymore.
well, there are a few hobbyists that do things like that, but that's all. Just
Although I believe they do kind of class it as the world's first composite aircraft, don't they?
Yeah.
The way it was constructed with the molded plywood as a monocoque.
Yeah. Well, good night, YouTube. You guys take care. Have a good evening. And I'll probably do a stream tomorrow night. We'll see how it goes, but I'll try to put an announcement up by lunchtime, something like that. 12 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. So say bye-bye to the YouTube guys.
Good night, YouTube guys.
Good evening.
Yeah, later, folks.